friends, it's box office prediction time, and admittedly this week I've got a steep climb ahead of me because I didn't do too well last weekend. I did get some of the numbers right, but the ordering was all wrong, and I pretty much narrow it down to Paddington 2 just way underperforming, and then The Commuter making a little more than I thought, so my rankings were all off, but let's get into it and recap what happened last weekend. At number 1 for the 3-day weekend, we had Jumanji with $28.1 million. Then it was The Post with $19.4 million, followed by The Commuter at number 3 with $13.7 million. The Greatest Showman took the number 4 spot with $12.5 million, and then it was Insidious: The Last Key at number 5 with $12.4 million for the 3-day weekend. Moving into this weekend's predictions now, starting off with my number 5, I do not have Den of Thieves there, rather The Commuter. So I actually do think there is a slight chance we might wind up seeing Paddington 2 in this position, but these are my box office predictions, so I have to commit to one, and I'm giving the number 5 spot to The Commuter. Like I said, this one wound up making more than I thought it would opening weekend, and it wound up matching just about Run All Night. So given the fact that they both opened with a similar amount, I'm looking at Run All Night's weekend 1 to 2 drop. That wound up being 55%. That's when the movie was playing in theaters back in 2015. So if I apply that same percent change to The Commuter, I wind up with The Commuter taking $6 million for its second weekend in theaters. Now moving on to my number 4, I'm actually keeping The Greatest Showman there again. This one is holding on so strong. Those week-to-week drops are so minimal. In fact, I think the largest one that it's seen is 11.3%, which is just so minimal. I really can't imagine it losing more than 25% this time around. So if I apply that percent change to The Greatest Showman's earnings last weekend, that would give it another $9 million, and this weekend, that should be good enough for number 4. Moving on to my number 3 now, that is where I have a newcomer. It's 12 Strong. So with 12 Strong, I am looking at 2 things in particular: Chris Hemsworth as the headliner, basically, and then also what the movie is about. So looking at Chris Hemsworth first, the Thor movies, yeah, they make a lot of money, but the other movies that Hemsworth headlines, they don't tend to do as well, and I'm looking at you in The Heart of the Sea and Black Cat. Then with the subject matter, looking at Patriots Day, which opened wide in 2017. It had a limited release before it did open wide, but when it had its wide release, that movie wound up making $11 million that weekend, and I think the same thing might be the case with 12 Strong, so I'm giving it number 3 with $11 million. Now moving on to number 2, I have The Post. So The Post actually wound up coming closer to Hidden Figures than I thought it would, so with that in mind, I'm just going to take Hidden Figures weekend 5% change and apply it to The Post here. So if The Post loses 25% of last weekend's earnings, Steven Spielberg's latest is making another $15 million. Moving on now to my number 1, yet again, it is Jumanji. This one continues to hold on strong, and I'm gonna stick with that Night at the Museum comparison for this one. That movie dropped 30% this same weekend back in 2007, so if I have the same thing happen to Jumanji this time around, it's making another $20 million, and that should definitely be good enough for number 1, yet again. Time to recap. I've got Jumanji coming in at number 1 with $20 million, The Post at number 2 with $15 million, 12 Strong opening up at number 3 with $11 million, The Greatest Showman staying at number 4 with $9 million, and then The Commuter rounding out the top 5 with $6 million. So those are my predictions, but as always, it is your turn. Please hit that comment section below, share your rankings right there. And before I close this out, I gotta give another Patreon shout out to a pair of very special guys. We have Lewis and James Maddox. They've been with the campaign for a really long time now, and whoa, the dedication! I cannot even begin to tell you guys how much I appreciate the continued support. It is just something else. Thank you so much to everybody out there watching this video right now. Please like and share, and I will see you next week to check back on these predictions and make some new ones. See you guys soon.